Stereo transmitter. Ito ang DZME 1530, numero 1 sa paghahatid ng mga sariwang balita, impormasyon, komentaryo, aliw, musika at public service. DZME 1530, una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
DJ Samples from LucidSamples.com.
Need to know the trending issues na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa Facebook, Twitter at mainstream media? Subaybayan ng Vlogging Ngayon. Vlogging Ngayon, pakinggan sina Carlo De Leon, Francis Abraham at Mark Lopez, tatlong personalidad na handang umupak sa dapat upakan at pumuri naman sa karapat-dapat purihin. Samahan sila sa 2 oras na paninimbang sa mga napapanong issue ngayon at bukas. Vlogging Ngayon, napapanood sa DZME Facebook live streaming at napapakinggan sa radyo tuwing Sabado, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
Okay, good evening once again. Welcome po sa Vlogging Ngayon. This is Carlo De Leon together with Francis Abraham and Mark Lopez. Tonight is a very special live broadcast. We are honored to have the legendary Senator Juan Ponce Enrile in the studio tonight. Just a brief backgrounder for everybody knows who he is, but
although
we still are required to introduce the guest.
Even though everybody knows him,
I will still give a brief backgrounder. He was born in Feb 14, 1924. He's a Filipino politician and lawyer. He was a protege of Ferdinand Marcos and served as Justice Secretary and then Defense Secretary under the Marcos regime. He later became one of the leaders along with Fidel Ramos in the 1986 People Power Revolution that drove Marcos from power into exile. Enrile has continued to be a prominent politician since then. He was Senate President from November 2008 until his resignation in June 5, 2013. And last October 16, Juan Ponce Enrile, otherwise known as JPE, filed his certificate of candidacy for the 2019 senatorial elections. Yun ang short background, Mark.
yes, and alam niyo po mga kaibigan, we are all excited here in the studio. We are here in Studio A. Nasa kabila po ang ating guest at
nagpe-prepare pa yata.
Ayos lang ng konti ang kanilang setup. But alam mo Carlo, marami tayong dito. Marami tayong matututunan dito.
Marami
tayong mapipick up dito. This is the personality po that has encompassed a lot of generation of
spanning how many presidents?
How many presidents?
From the start of his political career, that was Marcos.
Yun yung political career. Pero
prior to that,
ilang taon na siya ngayon?
94.
94. So
turning 95 in early Feb 2008.
Feb 14 yan, Valentine's Day ang
Valentine's
birthday
Day, exactly.
Oo. So imagine mo from the time of, I think,
Quezon.
Manuel Quezon.
Yes.
As president, all the way until now.
Until Duterte. Wow.
Dami nun, ha?
Wow,
Daming
dami.
presidente yung pinagdaanan.
Ikaw ilan?
Ako, Marcos na ako 1969
Marcos din.
Pinanganak. But
Yeah.
consciously, ako naging, of course, Marcos nung I was 17 nung when EDSA revolution
Conscious
happened.
ka na nun, at that age, di ba?
Yeah, oo. Ano na yun. So, Marcos lang until now.
Until now.
Yes.
Kumusta kaya sa kabila?
Hindi pa.
Anyway, hindi pa. Okay. More about JPE. He was the architect of martial law. Yun yung sabi nila, di ba?
Alam nyo, po, mga kaibigan, ayan, ready na tayo. But, yung po mga nasa audience natin ngayon, if you have questions, i-ready nyo na po o i-text nyo na kagad kami sa DZME Facebook page live stream. Ngayon po, nandyan na. And kung meron kayong katanungan for Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, ano nyo na po sa amin yan, i-relay nyo na. We can be reached through our Facebook page nga and through, saan pa, yung mga phone numbers natin.
Yung mga phone numbers natin,
Andyan,
paki-flash.
meron po kaming running tickler sa baba. May YouTube and then may Twitter page. Tapos meron kaming, call our hotlines. Ang landline po namin, 861-6947. If you have smart naman po, smart subscription, 0939-916-9855. And our Globe number is 0917-822-8362. Ulitin po natin, landline, DZME, 861-6947. Smart po is 0939-916-9855. And Globe, 0917-822-8362. Meron po kaming Facebook page, DZME 1530 kHz. And then may YouTube and then may Twitter din po. So, game. Hello. Francis?
Francis, can you hear us? Good evening, Francis.
Dito po kami, kasama ni Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. Dito po tayo live, Senator. Marami pong nanonood sa Facebook at maraming nakikinig, even from overseas. Sir, say good evening. Walang anuman po, walang anuman. We're honored to have you. Can you say hello to our audience po? Say hello to our audience and...
Unang-una, pasasalamatan ko kayo sa anyanya ninyo sa akin na dumalo dito at sumagot sa inyong mga katanungan. At kung meron kayong gustong tanungin at gustong maliwanagan na pangyayari sa ating bansa at mga issue na gusto nyo malaman ko ano ang aking position o anong ang aking magagawa, ay libre po kayo na magtanong. Kung hindi ko masagot yung tanong ninyo, ay sasabihin ko sa inyo.
Okay. Maraming salamat po, Senator. Let's start from the beginning of your career. Basically, you went to UP Law, hindi ba?
I'll begin with my schooling. I finished my elementary grade when I was 16 years old because my education was broken. I go to school 1 year when I was in elementary, then I go to school again because my mother could not afford my education. She was just a fish vendor. And somehow I was able to finish my 7th grade at that time. And then I went to first year high school. I finished it with fairly good academic position in this school. But an accident happened. I was ambushed inside the classroom by the children of the members of the Board of Trustees of the private high school that I was enrolled in. And I had to jump out of the window from the second floor in order to save myself.
What do you mean ambushed? Ambushed? What do you mean by ambushed? You were...
I was
ganged up on?
cornered by 4 students with their knives. And I was armless. And I had cuts over my body. My stomach was ripped and my intestine was out. And I had to save myself. I had to run to the municipal building to have myself medically attended.
For what? For what reason nila ginawa ho yun?
I was a scholar in that school and I was thrown out of, I was expelled. And I did not have any lawyer. And I filed the case, but the judge dropped my case because I had no lawyer. So, and that's why it changed the direction of my career. Instead of wanting to be an engineer, I became a lawyer instead because of that incident. And then I was in the war as a guerrilla. I was tortured by the Japanese. I was caught by them on February, October 1944. Almost near the MacArthur was about to come back to the Philippines. And I stayed with them until January 8th of 1945. I was able to escape. And then I went back to the jungles. And then, after, when the war was over, I finally met my father. I was 21, I only finished first year in high school. I was enrolled in Merinol in Malabon. And then after that, I went to Ateneo de Manila for 2 years after my graduation. And I went to UP for 4 years of law and 1 year of graduate school in Harvard. I had only 2.5 years of high school.
You couldn't. I heard that you had to pay for your own education at times. You had to work as a janitor even at time to pay.
I know how to, naglalampaso ako, nagwawalis, naglalaba, doon sa mga...
So, totoong naglalampaso
I
kayo?
was a houseboy.
Hindi ka mukha ni Mar Rojas na yung practice lang na nagpapako. Di ba si Mar Rojas yung kampanya, nagpapako siya ng...
Nagtrabaho ako sa... naging mangingisda ako, naging nagtatanim ng palay.
So, mahirap ang buhay nyo?
Lumberjack ako, kung ano man trabaho.
Mahirap ang buhay nyo?
Nagtrabaho ko na kaminero, 75 centavos a day, ang aking sweldo. Oh.
Aba.
That's why, when people are talking about poverty, and they talk about paghihirap sa buhay, kung minsan natatawa ako, ito mo nagsasalita, hindi nila alam ang tunay na kahirapan ng buhay na mamamayan natin. But I went through it. If they talk about torture, I was tortured by the Japanese. I can still remember the faces of the Japanese torturers that really water cured me, beat me up.
So you know what torture is?
I know what it is. That's why I hate anybody torturing prisoners.
Okay. From there, when did you get into government?
I was, President Marcos went to my house to invite me to join him in his campaign for nomination as a candidate of the Nationalista Party in 1964.
Okay.
And then I helped him. After that, I thought I will not be involved. Then during the campaign, they asked me again to join them. Then when he won, then he finally decided to bring me to the government. By the way, before I joined the government, I had a very successful law practice. I used to say, name them, they were my clients. Ayala, Soriano, San Miguel, all of that, all the oil companies in the country except Stanback at that time, or ESO now.
So at that time, you already went into private practice?
Yeah, with my father.
With your father? Your father was...
he was a partner in the Whit, Perkins, and Ponce Enrile law offices, which was a successor to Codert Brothers in the Philippines.
Oh, okay. So then Marcos asked you to join him?
Yes, but I did not intend to join the government, but he insisted because his executive secretary, Rafael Salas, fraternity brother ko para kong kapatid yun. Noong panahon pa ni Magsaysay, iniimbita na ako na papasok sa gobyerno . Pero si Paeng pumasok kay Magsaysay. Nung nag-graduate kami sa UP, pero hindi ako pumayag dahil I wanted to practice law. Then, during the Marcos years, I finally decided to join him for 1 year. But the 1 year stretched to all the way to 1986.
Okay. What was your first position in government?
I was appointed Under Secretary of Finance. And then concurrently, Chairman of the Philippine National Bank.
Okay.
And then later on, concurrent Commissioner of Insurance. And later on, I became concurrent Commissioner of Customs, where I stayed for 2
Customs?
years. Yeah.
Was Customs that corrupt then?
Oh, yes.
Already?
I conducted a war in the waterfront.
Ay, nagkakaroon na sila ng
Nung
problema.
panahon ni Presidente Marcos, lininis namin yung customs na yan .
Nalinis nyo ba?
Lininis namin.
So, regarding, okay, let me jump a little bit forward.
I lost a Korean veteran, by the way, through a gunfight during the time of Marcos.
What do you mean? In Customs?
Yeah.
What do you mean by nilinis na? You were into gunfights because?
Because I had to clean up the people who were cheating the government.
So
mga goons, mga
goons?
smugglers. My God, the waterfront was controlled by warlords.
Oh, so at that time, okay, warlords.
I replaced Colonel Jacinto Gavino, a man of the Lopezes.
Francis?
Oh, yes, sir.
Even during those times, mabigat na ang problema sa customs.
Oh, si Marco nagtatanong, mabigat na raw ang problema sa customs during those times.
Mabigat na noon. Marami ng smuggling doon. Smuggling of sigarilyo, baril, mga remnants, dahil yun ang mga pinapasok na mga kailangan ng bansa. Yung mga remnants, bulto-bulto.
Anong year ho yun? What year was that? The mga
I joined the customs November of 1966, and I left it December of 1968.
Pero wala pang drugs ho noon? Wala pang pumapasok na droga?
Wala. Walang droga.
Pa.
Wala.
Okay. So hindi so ang kalakaran
nag-umpisa yung droga.
Oh.
Drug problem natin dito I think about 1970, late 1971.
Pumunta ho tayo doon.
That's why when President Marcos declared martial law,
Opo.
the first thing he did was to capture Lim
Seng.
Seng.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was the only one that was shot.
I remember that, and you said, and at the time, Lim Seng, it was televised. It was televised, and the whole nation was watching. So what was the effect on the people?
We stopped the onset of the drug addiction in the country.
So, in relation to that, I'll ask you a question. Are you for death penalty?
No.
Pero
I'd rather that a person who commits a criminal will suffer in jail for a lifetime than even innocent man could be killed, and you cannot restore him back to life.
But sir, ang nangyayari po ngayon, if I understand it right, there are people in jail right now who are drug lords who are still dealing in drugs.
Well, that is a function of administration. You can stop that.
It can be stopped.
Oh yeah.
Paano?
I'm not in that anymore.
Francis.
Bahala naman sila na.
Yeah.
Maghanap na.
Francis.
Pero magiging
Kaya ako naging nagkaganito dahil marami akong hinawakan na segment ng gobyerno natin dahil naglinis din kami nung panahon namin.
Okay.
Lininis ko yung rentas internas. Hawak ko yung dalawang opisina na yon, rentas internas at saka custom as undersecretary. Pagkatapos lininis ko yung insurance commission. Akalain mo doon lahat pati mga pulis na nagtatraffic merong form ng insurance or surety bond. No? At saka customs doon, ang laki-laki ng uncollectible surety bonds. Ngayon, lininis ko rin yung customs.
Carlo.
Kaya pagkatapos, nung ilinipat ako sa Department of Justice, ang mga magugulo noon ay mga anak ng mga politiko.
Hanggang ngayon naman magugulo rin ang politiko ngayon.
Hindi. Pero hindi
nagbago.
Hindi ko naman linalahat. Meron yung mayor ng Makati noon
si Yabot. Was it Yabot?
At kinonvict ko siya.
Was it Yabot at that time?
Hindi. Si Nemesio Yabot was not yet mayor. And then, isang anak ng malaking pamilya na magulo noon, nagkaroon ng barilan sa Bayside.
Which was the strip at that time.
Takot lahat na nakasuhan siya. Sinabi ko, take him, dead or alive.
You had the authority.
Kinasuhan namin.
Ayun.
Yun ang obligasyon ko
Francis.
Mark, tanong mo si Mark.
Pagkatapos
si Mark muna, Francis.
Tanong mo si Mark sa kabila. Mark.
Sir, given that you are against death penalty, how can you now relate it dun sa situation ngayon with the war on drugs na
Okay.
isa sa centerpiece program ni President Duterte.
Okay. Given that you're against the death penalty, Rao, sir, you are against the death penalty. How will it affect, do you think, the program of Duterte in his war on drugs?
Oh,
In Duterte's war against drugs?
well, that's law enforcement. Drug is a criminal offense in the Philippines. Under his oath as a president, under the Constitution, he has to enforce the laws, even if he does not like it.
But
That
Duterte
is
is for
the
the
duty
death.
of the president.
Kaya nga, he wants a death penalty imposed. So if you are
As I said, I am against that penalty as a matter of ideology and belief.
Okay.
I will not. I'd rather make that criminal suffer for a lifetime in jail than destroy the life of an innocent person.
Okay, you got your answer, Mark. May tanong pa kayo dyan, Mark?
So ano ang grade, how can or what will be the assessment of Senator Enrile dito sa war on drugs ni President Duterte?
Ano po ang
Does he agree with the approach?
Itong ginagawa po ni Duterte ngayon, do you agree with what he's doing?
Yung
In the war? In the war on drugs? As far as...
on his war on drugs?
Yeah.
Yes, that is law enforcement. Now, if there are abuses, then let those people who are abused file the case and let the process, the judicial process, operate.
Okay. So do you think there are abuses?
Nobody is immune from criminal liability if they commit an infraction of the law.
Okay.
Both sides of defense, on the government side as well as on the public side.
Yun, klaro tayo. So, ang sinasabi ni Senator, yung rule of law should prevail whether you're on the government side or the other side.
The rule of
Tama.
rule of law must be enforced.
Okay.
And that is why you have the police. And if the police cannot handle the magnitude of the violence, then you use the army.
Okay.
That is the norm of a democratic society.
What about the human rights abuses, sir? Ano tingin nyo? Are there human rights abuses now?
I don't know. Probably there will always be an abuse of power. But that abuse of power in our system of government must be placed in the form of a complaint, backed up by evidence to be presented to a supposedly impartial judge to make the judgment of guilt or no guilt.
I will talk about now the rule of law. Now, regarding martial law, I'd like to touch on that. Martial law.
Yeah.
Now, in Duterte's time, do you think what he did was right? Imposed martial law in the whole of Mindanao?
First of all, what is the source of the power of a president to declare martial law? He did not invent that. He will not invent that.
It is a tool to restore
it
order.
It is in the Constitution. What is the Constitution? That is the mandate of the sovereign to govern government in a country.
Okay.
So that all the provisions of the Constitution are laws coming from the consent of the governed, the people. That's why you have a plebiscite when you have a constitution. Now, in case of need, it is the duty of the president to use that not for his own interest or convenience, but for the people that that elected him to be president.
So do you think his declaration
Now,
of martial...
if he abuses the power, then there is a remedy. Impeach him.
Okay.
Or charge him after he finishes his...
Do you think he's abusing his power? As far as Mindanao is concerned, do you think he is abusing his power?
You know, the question of law and order and the extent of the gravity of that challenge against the law of order in the country is a function of governance. It's the president, through his people under him, that assesses the condition of law and order in the country, and he must act. If in his judgment there is a need to apply the laws and apply the powers of government granted to him as president of the Philippines.
Hypothetically, the case was petition was put in the Supreme Court regarding his imposition of martial law. Dapat bang nakialam ang Supreme Court doon?
Under the present Constitution, yes. It is subject to review. During the time of Marcos, the Supreme Court did not have a review power over the declaration of martial law.
Bakit walang review power nung panahon na yun? Bakit po?
The ruling jurisprudence during the time of Marcos was the case of Barcelona versus Baker.
Okay.
That was totally erased under the 1987 Constitution.
So, dati, hindi pwedeng i-review ng Supreme Court yung imposition ng martial law ni Marcos. Yun ang sinasabi
They
niyo.
could not review.
They would not review.
Later on, I think under the 1973 Constitution, if I don't remember, there was a decision, the Lansang case, they limited that power of the president. But initially, when it was declared, the declaration of martial law or the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus was non-reviewable by the judiciary.
You jailed a couple of people.
Huh?
You jailed a couple of people during the imposition of martial law. You were the architect of martial law under Marcos.
I'm not the architect. I studied it. And, of course, it's the president that has the power to declare it.
So there was a need to declare it. Upon your review, there was a need.
It was studied by the Department of Justice. And we prepared the book. And I don't know where that book is now. There was only one copy.
So it's gone. You said a lot of people are criticizing you. They're saying you are a revisionist as far as history is concerned.
Well, I don't blame them. You know, they have their story to tell. I have my own experience and story to tell. Now, which side has the truth, the certitude? Let a more benign and calmer era decide that. Because at the moment, emotions, passions, partisanships are playing a role. So I think I will not blame them for saying that I'm a revisionist, but I'm just stating facts. If there is anybody, if there is all the reasons for martial law and the basis of declaring martial law during the Marcos years are written in a document, in a public document, which until now can be accessed by anybody, including my hearers tonight. And that is Proclamation number 1081. Now, if they read that proclamation, they can tell me if there was something wrong in the narrations of events and facts in that proclamation. You
served under Marcos, sir. Apparently, throughout the years, ever since he was gone, he was not judged fairly, as far as I can see. He was judged as a dictator, as a ruthless man. Is he a dictator and a ruthless man?
I will not characterize anybody. Each one has a perception. Each one has a notion. Each one has an imagination. Each one has a like or dislike. I cannot characterize a person. Every power that he exercised were from the Constitution of 1935.
Okay.
Okay, Francis.
The Constitution was the will of the people. The general will of the people.
Okay, may tanong mo yan.
All right, Francis, hindi. Let's hold that thought. We'll go back to the discussion about President Marcos. But before that, let's take a short break. And balik po tayo kay Senator Enrile after this
okay, we'll take
break.
a short station break and we'll be back, Senator.
Okay, thank you.
Rapido ni Tulfo. Mga balitang papasadahan, umatikabong komentaryong malaman, higit sa lahat, aksyon sa bawat suliranin sa lipunan. Rapido ni Tulfo. Rapido ni Tulfo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, dito pa rin sa himpilang kakampi ng masa. DZME 1530. Rapido ni Tulfo. Rapido ni Tulfo.
Issue. Maanghang na komentaryo si iba't ibang usapin ang hatid sa inyo ng veteranong broadcaster Mike Abe sa Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. 10 oras na diretsyang pagbatikos sa mga abusadong opisyal ng gobyerno. Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. Sino ka man ay hindi inuurungan basta't nasa katwiran. Kilala sa kanyang kredibilidad kaya naging takbuhan at sumbungan ng mga pinagsasamantalaan. Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. Napapakinggan tuwing alas 5 hanggang alas 6 ng umaga, Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Dito lamang sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
Abangan ang programang lilinaw at magpapaliwanag sa mga isyong pilit na pinalalabo. Sentido Kumon. Kasama sina Rita Gadi, Homobono Adaza, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, tuwing alas 7 hanggang alas 8 ng umaga sa ating himpilan 1530 DZME. Sentido Kumon.
May problema ba? Usap tayo. Malay natin baka dito makakamit ang solusyon. Mag-ugnayan tayo. Gamitin ang programang Ugnayan. Subok sa tunay na paninilbihan sa bayan. Anumang alalahanin sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan, samahan at alinmang organisasyon. Maging kapartner si Alwin Fermin sa Ugnayan. Ugnayan handang magsilbi. Subok sa lahat ng oras. Ugnayan. Mapapakinggan tuwing alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, sa inyong paboritong himpilang DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan. Paparating na ang tambalang kampyon at kilala sa sinserong paglilingkod. Tunay na kinagigiliwan, kapwa may sense of humor. Sina Ed Sarto at Congressman Benny Abante sa Kongreso Ngayon at Your Service. 2 oras na hitik sa interview sa lahat ng sektor ng ating lipunan. Pag-iipagtalas-tasan sa mga politikong tagagawa ng batas at balansyadong paghimay sa mga napapanahong issue. Kongreso Ngayon at Your Service. Programang puno ng serbisyong walang kasing bilis. Kongreso Ngayon at Your Service. Sumasa inyong mga tahanan Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Dito lamang sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan. Kumusta Manoy? Mga usapin tungkol sa kalalakihan, mga hinaing at saloobin ng mga tigasin at haligi ng tahanan. Pag-uusapan, kumusta Manoy? Sasalamin sa mga makatotohanang kalagayan ng mga kalalakihan sa lipunan. Kumusta Manoy? Ito ang Kumusta Manoy? Kumusta Manoy? Bubungad tuwing alas 11 ng umaga sa Homebody, ang bida ng tahanan. Kumusta Manoy? Pre, anong say mo?
Hanap mo ba ang may kabuluhang tawanan? Pwede rin namang seryosong usapan o feel good sa mga kwento ng buhay, mga kakaibang topic, or just anything under the sun. Trending ba niyan, usapang kalusugan, pampaganda, pagkakaperahan, dagdag kaalaman sa batas, pati problema at usapang kalalakihan, at home ka dito. May trabaho o wala, ikaw ang bida sa Homebody. Alas 11 hanggang 1:00 ng hapon, dito sa DZME 1530. Sama-sama tayong bibida with Jamie Quinto at Manoy Romy. Homebody, ang bida ng tahanan.
Gusto mo bang mamasyal? Napuntahan mo na ba ang iba't ibang sulok ng Pilipinas? Mahilig ka bang kumain ng kakaibang putahe? Gusto mo bang sumama? Tara let's! At mag-travel wishlist! Tuwing linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5:30 ng hapon, bibisitahin natin ang beach, bundok, lawa, hanggang bulkan! Titikman natin ang masasarap na putahe at kakanin, kasama ang kakampi nyo sa Himpapawid. Margo Dragonesa, ang babaeng dragon para sa travel wishlist. Dito yan sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan. Ikaw, ano ang bucket list mo?
Broadcasting live sa pamamagitan ng state-of-the-art 25,000 watts fully digital AM power stereo transmitter. Ito ang DZME 1530, numero 1 sa paghahatid ng mga sariwang balita, impormasyon, komentaryo, aliw, musika at public service. DZME 1530, una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
DJ Samples from LucidSamples.com.
Need to know the trending issues na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa Facebook, Twitter at mainstream media? Subaybayan ng Vlogging Ngayon. Vlogging Ngayon, pakinggan sina Carlo De Leon, Francis Abraham at Mark Lopez, tatlong personalidad na handang umupak sa dapat upakan at pumuri naman sa karapat-dapat purihin. Samahan sila sa 2 oras na paninimbang sa mga napapanong issue ngayon at bukas. Vlogging Ngayon, napapanood sa DZME Facebook live streaming at napapakinggan sa radyo tuwing Sabado, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
Good evening once again. Welcome po sa Vlogging Ngayon. We just took a break. Francis?
Oo, nagsama-sama na po kami.
Let's continue with the program.
Oo, kasi
what did we leave?
We left, Senator, we left on Marcos. And you refused to label him as whether he was a good leader or whatever. What do you think the legacies of President Marcos are?
You know, Marcos did a lot of things. You know. One of the most controversial things that he did was to declare martial law, but by necessity, he had to, because otherwise, the possibility or the probability that this country could have become a Marxist country was there. Otherwise, we will become like Cuba or like North Korea or Nicaragua or the other countries that, or Cambodia, under Marxist system. Although in the case of China, it became a Marxist government, but a socialism with Chinese characteristics, as they said, a nation with two systems, capitalism in economics and rigid Marxism or Leninist or Maoism in governance.
So do you...
Now, in the case of Marcos, what he did that I could consider as important to the country, even today, outside of the presidential decrees that we are still using, no? There are two things. The electrification of the entire country, that was done under his watch.
The rural areas.
Yeah. You have now electricity in every rampart of the country, even in the island provinces and municipalities. Second, which is propping our economy today, by the way, is the expansion of the intellectual capacities of the nation.
Education.
Democratization of education through the state university system.
Yes, state universities.
Every province has a state university. Where before you have only UP, you have PUP as state universities, Los Baños and Mindanao State University. People in the rural areas who otherwise could not afford to gain a university or a college or university education like me in my time when I was in my province of Cagayan, could now acquire a college or university education. And that is the one that expanded the number of professionals in the country, which we have deployed all over the corners of the globe, which we call now as OFWs.
Yes.
Isn't it ironic, Senator, that now yung mga millennials dyan sa UP, which is the state college, they are still crying, claiming that Marcos was a dictator, well, and that Duterte is a U.S.-American puppet.
Yeah.
He made friends with China.
I do not blame. I do not apparently that was what they heard, what they read in the schools, in the media, and so forth and so on. Now, later on, maybe in life, they will realize that there is another story to it. And that's why I said earlier that history is written by people during a calmer social condition.
Okay. Now, regarding his being a puppet of the U.S., I'm sure it's far from it that he is a puppet of the U.S. Si Duterte, that's what they claim now. He's a U.S. puppet. O yung mga U.S.
Puppet of who?
Of Americans.
Si Duterte?
Oh, sabi ng mga millennials dyan sa UP.
Puppet daw ng US Duterte.
How can a man be a puppet when he is trying to establish an equidistant foreign policy?
Correct. Independent foreign policy.
No.
What do you think about that foreign policy?
I will not use the term independent.
Okay.
Equidistant.
Why not?
He deals with China and America depending upon his perception of national interest.
Okay.
Not the interest of America or in the interest of China, but the interest of the country that he represents and the people that elected him to power.
Exactly.
Oh.
And you agree with that, sir?
Huh?
You agree with that?
Yes.
It's called equidistant.
Equidistant.
Oh, may bago tayong
terminology.
Not geographically, because
Yes.
Washington is far, Beijing is near to us.
Yes.
But in terms of policy or foreign policy and foreign relation, he's equidistant to these two guys.
Okay.
We have the Mutual Defense Treaty, but we have also a national interest that impinges and impacts on China. And that's why he is handling that with diplomacy rather than the instruments of war.
Okay. Speaking about China, sir, Senator Trillanes made 16 trips to China. Senator Trillanes.
Yes.
And you communicated that in your speech in the Senate.
No, what happened was that at that time I was the Senate President. Okay. And I was invited by President Noynoy Aquino to Malacanang. I did not know the subject matter of the invitation, so I went. And when I went there, Trillanes was there. And then the President came in. Trillanes was seated on my right side. I cannot remember the guy who was on my left side, and I was directly in front of the President. And they were talking about the problem with Scarborough.
Yes.
And Secretary Del Rosario, Albert Del Rosario, was making a power representation. And then Trillanes was whispering to me that treason is being done here. What treason? I said. Well, some people are committing treason to the country. He did not elaborate. Then finally, during the discussion, he mentioned that he was making a backdoor negotiation with the Chinese. And so I asked him in front of President Aquino, who authorized you to make a backdoor negotiation? Under what authority? In the beginning, he did not say anything. They did not want to say. Finally, the President, I authorized him, and I told the President, in a friendly manner and courteously, that, Sir, Mr. President, this is quite dangerous. I said, if I may say, because whatever this gentleman would have said to those people, they will record that and they will use it against us.
Sir.
And I think we should not do this. We should always work with our ambassador. He's the guardian of our interest.
That was the proper channel.
Yeah.
She was posted.
Sir, that backdoor negotiations of Trillanes was because of the standoff in the South China Sea? Was that because of the standoff?
That was it involves the problem of Scarborough at that time.
When we sent a ship
about Scarborough.
That was when
and then he bypassed Ambassador Brady.
Yes.
And I said, you cannot do that. You have always to go through your ambassador, because that's the reason why you deploy him there, to know what's going on. And you you must be brief.
So he broke protocol, in short.
And I think that was one reason why somehow I irritated the powers that be.
At that time,
after you mentioned that in the Senate.
I really did not care because I'm not beholden to anybody.
Sir,
I'm beholden to the country.
Sir, was that a crucial moment in our ties with China? Was that a crucial episode?
Well, of course. Oh my God. Well, if you send somebody there as a representative of the president, he is the framer of foreign policy. They will take that as coming from the president.
Senator, that means whatever is said is official because he was.
Of course.
Oh wow!
And that is where we started.
He is making it on behalf of a president.
And that is where we lost the Scarborough show. That is where we lost.
Well, I don't know whether it be because of that we lost. But there was a letter of Ambassador Brady, a copy of which was furnished to me by Albert Del Rosario, which narrated what Trillanes did there, and very bad for the country.
You called him a coward.
Babaya mo na lang.
No. You did call him a coward. And you also called him a traitor.
No, I will not want to, in the course of the debate, you can utter words sometimes out of...
the heat of the moment.
Heat of the moment, yeah.
So, Senator, what are the repercussions of what Senator Trillanes did?
I don't know, but it should be assessed.
It should be assessed.
But for me, that was indelicate, dangerous for the country.
Now, Trillanes is facing the amnesty of Trillanes is being revoked. It has been revoked and upheld by the RTC 148, no? And the other regional trial court, no? So his amnesty is revoked. What if you were in the cabinet of the president? Hypothetically, what would you advise him?
I would not do. I would not give free advice.
Ipulong niyo na lang po.
No. And besides, as a lawyer, I have to respect the judgment of the court, and I'll have to keep silent on this case. So.
Okay.
That is the ethics of our profession. We are agents of the courts.
Agents of the courts.
Now, I think we should go into the future.
Yeah.
You're 94 years old.
94. I am aware of our transition from the Spanish colonizers to the Americans, then the government of General Merritt to the Taft Commission to the National Assembly, with the National Assembly in 1907, then the Jones Law, which created the Senate in 1916, then the Commonwealth that was created under the 1935 Constitution, and which transited to become between colonization of the Americans and the independence, the Republic of the Philippines.
So 94.
And then transition from the 1935 Constitution to the 1973 Constitution, and then from the 1973 Constitution to martial law, and then EDSA Revolution, then the 1973 Constitution to the Revolutionary Constitution, and then to the 1987 Constitution.
What do you think about the 1987 Constitution?
Magagalit sa akin sila Justice Davide.
He says it's the best. He says it's the best constitution.
There's no such thing as the best constitution. Then the term best is relative depending upon the one perceiving it.
And what is your perception of it? Honestly, your own perception.
I think it should be compressed a little bit. It's too verbose.
Too verbose.
The 87 Constitution.
What are the things that should be changed?
I'm not going to discuss the changes.
Are you for the parliamentary shift?
I am for a parliamentary system of government.
But
unitary and parliamentary system with a president.
With a president.
Yeah. It is a linear probably a more efficient system than we have.
What about the British style or the British with the Prime Minister? British model.
We do not have to copy the British system. We do not have lords here with titles, you know. We are a republic, just like them, but we have a different political culture.
Okay.
Which country's system do you think is best?
Sir,
The Republic of the Philippines.
I mean, which...
We have to make our own
We have to make our
constitution according to our geography, according to the character of our people, and according to our needs, our economy.
So this is one of the reasons why you're going to run. This is one of the reasons why you're going to run, and you can contribute to all this.
Yeah, because I studied the proposed federal constitution that is now on the table, and I found quite a number of flaws, which are very burdensome to the Filipino people, and probably could be a source also of violent outbursts.
Can you expound on that, Senator? What are the weaknesses of the draft constitution?
We start with the transitory provision. The transitory provision creates actually a virtual dictatorship. Though you combine in the Transition Commission all the powers of government, executive, legislative, judicial, and there's no appeal. What they decide is the law.
That's it.
Including budgeting, including raising revenue for the government. And if you happen to be injured by the decision of the commission, there is no system of appeal.
No system of appeal.
Yeah.
So yun na yun. Yun na yung magiging constitution natin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kung namatay yung presidente, the 10 other members of the commission who are not elected can prolong the transition.
Up to how long?
Nobody knows.
Oh.
Depending upon their capacity to control the situation.
Well,
now,
interesting.
If there is a war during the period of the transition, who can declare war? What is the constitution that will govern during that interregnum?
The interregnum, that transition period should be short to make it work.
I don't think you can finish it in June of 2022.
Okay.
With the magnitude of the transition plan that is required to be prepared by 11 men.
11 men.
You expect it to be done within that time? I don't think so.
So what are your proposals for...
No, I have no proposal. I made a critic of the proposed constitution. It's a very heavy. Just for instance, the Supreme Court. You have 15 justices today. And their proposal is to increase the 15 Supreme Court membership to 42.
42?
Yeah, that is 280% increase.
Why so many?
Because they created a Supreme Court, Federal Supreme Court, Federal Constitutional Court, Federal Administrative Court, Federal Electoral Court, and then other commissions. Ang dami.
Ang dami naman ng 42.
So hindi, sa tingin nyo, hindi natin kailangan yun?
Sa Kongreso lang. They increased the membership by
dami, yes.
Congress.
100, from 300 to 400.
400. That
is 33 and 1/3% increase in the manpower and budget of the Congress. So Senado, they increased it from 24 to 36. That is 50% increase in the number of the senators. So I'm calculating that is also the increase in the budget.
So
and then the other, you go to that is only the first level. The second level, ganun din. Marami rin kailangan na pera doon. Now, sino ang kakarga niyan? Sino ang magbabayad niyan?
Mga Pilipino magbabayad niyan, sir.
Yung mga nakikinig sa atin, lalo na yung mga kabataan, yung mga millennials, ang tatamaan dyan.
So mahal yung Constitution. Mahal i-implement.
Ngayon, maraming mga problema. Sabi nila, we must adopt a policy of not having any weapons of mass destruction. Sabi ko, we will adopt the policy of surrender, of enslavement. Kung yung mga kapitbahay natin, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Indochina, magkaroon sila ng nuclear weapon of mass destruction. Luluhod tayo sa kanila. Pagkatapos sabi nila, itong gagawin na federalism is indissoluble. It's permanent, immutable. Why should we deny the future Filipinos, the millennials, to change their form of government if they find it burdensome or ineffective?
Immutable pala. Hindi ko alam yun Immutable, permanent na,
Unchangeable.
forever?
Oh.
Forever and ever, amen?
You read the provision of the amendatory provision. Marami. Basahin ninyo yung linagay ko doon sa Facebook ko.
Sige.
Senator, you were not part of the Constitution. You were not part of the Constitution.
No.
But if you were.
I got a copy.
Yes, sir.
And then I started reading it and studying it word for word, phrase by phrase, clause by clause, section by section, article by article, and consolidated them.
And then
and some of their assumptions are not in accordance with the reality on the ground.
Yes.
So what can the Filipinos do? What can we do to change this?
You have to read the Constitution and understand it before you vote on it.
So we expect
because they will present it to the Filipino people.
And we have to, that's a plebiscite, to referendum.
That is the exercise, the determination of the will of the people. That is the general will that I was talking about.
So kung ayaw namin, no ang boto.
Walang mangyayari pag natalo sa plebiscite.
Pag natalo po sa plebiscite, kailangan mag-redraft sila ng bagong constitution.
Kung gusto nila na magbago.
Kung gusto. Pero ipit tayo nun. Wala na tayong choice.
Hindi, ang point is, I think, ang gusto ng senador is to draft a correct constitution that will be acceptable to the people. Yeah. And acceptable. Because lahat yung pag-uusapan ninyo sa Senado.
They must know what it is. Because that will affect the lives of the people, especially the young people. In my case, it will not affect me. I'm going to die soon.
But you want to talk about it.
I want, as an elder member of the society, I want to protect naman, if I could, the interest of the young people like my grandchildren, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, who will be affected.
On that note, sabi, may comments ho dito.
May mga comments.
May mga comments. You are very old, but you are still very sharp. What is the secret of your
Thank the Lord.
Thank the Lord.
What is the secret of your sharpness? Or your longevity? Are you taking something that will not?
You know, Francis.
Yes.
The brain of a person is just like any muscle of the body, any organ. You exercise it every day.
Oo nga.
So that is why the brain of babies are not yet well developed because they are not yet exercised.
But why are there still?
Now, if you want a brand new brain in the Senate, that is good and bad. You know, he might not understand what he's doing.
But as far as I see some people in government that don't seem to exercise their brain too much.
You know, what I do is to read. I'm not reading light materials. I read heavy materials and understand them to force me to make my mind working.
It seems that you are.
If I'm idle, I take a book of poetry and I start memorizing poetry.
Wow.
That's your pastime. That's your pastime. That's what whiles your time away.
For instance, just to give you an example, one poet said, I sent my soul through the invisible with some letter of that afterlife to spell. And after many days, my soul returned and said, behold, myself am heaven and hell. Heaven, but the vision of fulfilled desire. And hell, the shadow of a soul on fire. Cast on the darkness into which ourselves so late emerged from, shall so soon expire. We are no other than a moving row of visionary shapes that come and go round with the sun-illumined lantern held in midnight by the master of the show.
Brilliant.
I will Ako, paano katagal naman
Gano'n ko memorize yun? Memorize mo yan, Francis?
And to continue, important pieces of the game he plays upon this checkerboard of nights and days. Hither and thither moves and checks and slays, and one by one back in the closet lays.
Ayun.
Ayun, wow.
Kaya niyo ba yun, Harry Potter?
Wow. Kaya ba yan, Francis? Francis, kaya ba yan? Mark, ikaw ba, kaya
yun
ba yan?
ang Francis, ang ginagawa ko para hindi mawala yung pag-iisip ng matanda na kagaya ko.
Exercise the
Kaya, huwag kayong magtataka na itong matanda na ito, pwede pa naman mag-isip. Hindi naman ako makikipag-wrestling doon sa Senado eh.
Let's go back to the country.
Ha?
Let's go back to our country. What do you think are the biggest problems of our country?
Scarcity of fuel.
That's causing
That will
inflation.
be the cause of wars in this century.
That's right.
The supply of crude in Russia, in the Caspian Sea, in Central Asia, in Africa, in the Gulf of Mexico, and even in Asia, we do not have much.
So what are we going to do? We have
Are
to...
dwindling because para rin kanya, parang deposit tubig, pag linimas mo yung balon at wala ng tubig yung balon, wala ka ng tubig. And the demand is going up. That is causing the high price of gasoline. Don't ever think that that gasoline will go down. This has something to do with inflation of the country. Sinabayan niya ng mataas na presyo ng dolyar. High price of crude, lowering of the value of the peso. Dalawa yan will impact the price of commodities. That's why you have a high inflation. Then, papatungan mo para sa tax. You have a big supply of money. Talagang tataas ang presyo.
Okay. So are you
that's what you call inflation.
Okay. So mataas ang we should go into other sources of energy. We should go into and explore other sources of energy.
But it takes time. It takes at least 3 years to bring out
Which alternative?
If you are lucky.
In the meantime, what can we do to address the problem?
I do not know really right now. We have to hasten the exploration of our possible sources of our own supply. Hindi lang tayo yan eh.
Yes.
Pati China, 80% of its energy is imported. 80? And their only source of supply in China is the docking field in Manchuria.
Senator.
And in this part of the world, the only two places where that's producing oil is docking field of Manchuria and Sakhalin of Russia.
So
north of Japan.
Senator, among the alternative sources, of energy, which should we pursue? Solar, wind,
Solar is
nuclear.
limited. Solar is limited. Don't depend on it. It's good to propagate it, but that is very small megawattage.
Okay, what about the
wind?
Would you support nuclear?
The wind power is only good in the Ilocos region. That is blessed with with a steady.
May question po si Mark. Yung
wind.
May question po si
Would
Mark.
you support nuclear? Nuclear energy? Should we pursue?
Even that is going to be a problem because uranium from Africa and Australia are already diminishing in quantity.
The Bataan nuclear power plant, we cannot revive?
I do not think we can afford it anymore.
We had the
That
chance.
was an error on the part of the previous administrations to stop it. But
That was a
let's
costly
not
error.
regret what happened before. We have to accept the error. If we keep regretting,
Di
we
tayo
will die
makamove forward.
regretting. But we do not solve the problem. We should find a way to solve the problem.
Senator, you agree that our electricity cost is high?
Because of high cost of production.
And we are overpaying.
What are the sources of our energy?
Crude.
Geothermal. Okay. What we have? Hydro,
Hydro,
electric, wind,
wind,
and sun. Solar. Now, everything else is imported.
like crude.
Coal, diesel, crude, gasoline, and diesel, natural gas.
Yes.
Now, if we can have the technology, the facilities for it, we could import natural gas. We have plentiful in America coming from shale, from the shale energy production. It's a byproduct of the oil that they produce out of their shale rocks.
Shell rocks.
Sa pansamantala, Senator, on the short term, or even maybe long term also, you were against the EPIRA law.
I was the only one who voted against it.
So you're still against the EPIRA law?
Because I at that time believed, and I still believe, that creating the PISAM as a successor to NAPOCOR will not reduce the volume of indebtedness. And my surmise was correct. The debts of NAPOCOR that used to handle our energy is very much less than the debts now of PISAM. And that goes into the pricing of our electricity.
There are people now who want to abolish the EPIRA law. They want to abolish the EPIRA law. There are groups who want to abolish.
It's too late.
Will you?
It's
Too
too
late.
late.
Too
We
late?
are locked into it.
Forever?
Oh, we are locked.
As in lock?
Forever? When you become senator, you
Wala
cannot.
na.
Wala.
Yun ang sistema natin ngayon.
Hindi na pwedeng baguhin yun, sir?
Ewan ko kung mababago mo.
Pag naging senator kayo, let's sir, if you become senator again, would you propose or
I will debate it with them.
Okay, good.
Yung mga nag-push niyan ewan ko, they were pushed by some invested interest in the country.
Yun nga po. But we had a couple of guests. We had a couple of guests prior to you who are saying na the president should use his powers to abolish the EPIRA law and that the electricity cost can be lowered by as much as 50%.
Yes,
Kasi sobrang nalawag
if we
kinikita ng mga...
If we can knock down the indebtedness of PISAM, which is going into the pricing of our electricity.
Okay.
Okay, before we continue, let's go on another break.
Yep.
Okay.
Got a 5-minute break?
Yes. Okay na?
Senator?
Dami nyo alam, Grabe. Dami nyo alam, Senator.
Hanap mo ba ang may kabuluhang tawanan? Pwede rin namang seryosong usapan o feel good sa mga kwento ng buhay, mga kakaibang topic, or just anything under the sun. Trending man yan, usapang kalusugan, pampaganda, pagkakaperahan, dagdag kaalaman sa batas, pati problema at usapang kalalakihan. At home ka dito. May trabaho o wala, ikaw ang bida sa Home Buddy. Alas 11 hanggang 1:00 ng hapon, dito sa DZME 1530. Sama-sama tayong bibida with Jamie Quinto at Manoy Romy. Home Buddy, ang bida ng tahanan.
Issue.
Maanghang na komentaryo si iba't ibang usapin ang hatid sa inyo ng veteranong broadcaster Mike Abe sa Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. 10 oras na diretsyang pagbatikos sa mga abusadong opisyal ng gobyerno. Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. Sino ka man ay hindi inuurungan basta't nasa katwiran. Kilala sa kanyang kredibilidad kaya naging takbuhan at sumbungan ng mga pinagsasamantalaan. Gising na Panguna Pilipinas. Napapakinggan tuwing alas 5 hanggang alas 6 ng umaga, Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Dito lamang sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
Abangan ang programang lilinaw at magpapaliwanag sa mga isyong pilit na pinalalabo. Sentido Común, Sentido Común. Kasama sina Rita Gadi, Homobono Adaza, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, tuwing alas 7 hanggang alas 8 ng umaga sa ating himpilan 1530 DZME. Sentido Común.
May problema ba? Usap tayo. Malay natin baka dito makakamit ang solusyon. Mag-ugnayan tayo. Gamitin ang programang Ugnayan. Subok sa tunay na paninilbihan sa bayan. Anumang alalahanin sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan, samahan at alinmang organisasyon, maging kapartner si Aldwin Fermin sa Ugnayan. Ugnayan, handang magsilbi. Subok sa lahat ng oras. Ugnayan, mapapakinggan tuwing alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, sa inyong paboritong himpilang DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
Rapido ni Tulfo. Mga balitang papasadahan, umatikabong komentaryong malaman, higit sa lahat, aksyon sa bawat suliranin sa lipunan. Rapido ni Tulfo. Rapido ni Tulfo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, dito pa rin sa himpilang kakampi ng masa. DZME 1530. Rapido ni Tulfo. Rapido ni Tulfo.
Gusto mo bang mamasyal? Napuntahan mo na ba ang iba't ibang sulok ng Pilipinas? Mahilig ka bang kumain ng kakaibang putahe? Gusto mo bang sumama? Tara, let's! At mag-travel wishlist! Tuwing linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5:30 ng hapon, bibisitahin natin ang beach, bundok, lawa, hanggang bulkan. Titikman natin ang masasarap na putahe at kakanin, kasama ang kakampi nyo sa Himpapawid. Margo Dragonesa, ang babaeng dragon para sa travel wishlist. Dito yan sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan. Ikaw, ano ang bucket list mo?
Broadcasting live sa pamamagitan ng state-of-the-art 25,000 watts fully digital AM power stereo transmitter. Ito ang DZME 1530. Numero 1 sa paghahatid ng mga sariwang balita, impormasyon, komentaryo, aliw, musika at public service. DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
DJ Samples from LucidSamples.com.
Need to know the trending issues na pinag-uusapan ngayon sa Facebook, Twitter at mainstream media? Subaybayan ng Vlogging Ngayon. Vlogging Ngayon, pakinggan sina Carlo De Leon, Francis Abraham at Mark Lopez, tatlong personalidad na handang umupak sa dapat upakan at pumuri naman sa karapat-dapat purihin. Samahan sila sa 2 oras na paninimbang sa mga napapanong issue ngayon at bukas. Vlogging Ngayon, napapanood sa DZME Facebook live streaming at napapakinggan sa radyo tuwing Sabado, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi sa DZME 1530. Una sa kanan, ang himpilang may paninindigan.
At that time, he was a professor of UP.
We're back to Vlogging Ngayon. Senator Juan Ponce Enrile. Senator, you're running again for a senator for the end time. So what are your plans? What are your plans to...
Well, you know, when I studied abroad, I specialized in taxation.
Okay.
International taxation. That's why the OFWs and the Filipinos who are resident abroad are not paying income tax here in the country because I exempted them from paying income tax here in the country for the income that they earned abroad. So that's one. If I go back, I would like to revisit our tax system and find a new source of income for the government and then do a reduction of the VAT.
The VAT.
So that it will ease up the problem of pricing of commodities in the country.
That's right, kasi VAT's on
That's
everything.
interesting. Saan nyo kukunin yung...
Hindi ko sasabihin makakopyahin nila.
Pero alam ninyo na.
Alam ko na.
Pero i-reduce na lang yung
Di ba,
value-added tax.
Train law,
And I'll tell you that the source of tax that I'm thinking will not affect the middle class nor the
poor,
the lower rank of our population.
These
The
oligarchs...
burden will be shifted to the most affluent members of the society.
Maraming magagalit sa inyo yan.
Grabe.
Hindi naman.
Mga oligarchs.
Hindi, sir. Maski na yung mga mayayaman dito, hindi sila maapektuhan.
Hindi maapektuhan. Maganda
You know,
plano yan.
I will not tell you what it is, but
maybe later when we have
a lot of people do not know this yata. But, Senator, you were first appointed as Secretary of Finance?
I I acted as Secretary of Finance most of the time.
That was your first?
Because I was acting chairman of the monetary board. I know our monetary system. Most of the time, my secretary was always abroad to attend conferences, so I was running the department.
Okay, how about our national debt, Senator? Our national debt, our external debt, it's still at about 72 billion US dollars. Yung national debt natin, utang.
I'm concerned about the foreign debt.
Yes.
If I will not be concerned with the domestic debt.
Why is that
Alam
so?
mo sa China, ang ibang sistema nila, they have what they call a throughput economy. You know? Their goal is full production, full employment.
Okay.
Kaya makikita mo na they actually print, they're not governed by the International Monetary Fund, their currency.
So they just print the money they need.
America also used that kind of a system. But because of the control of the IMF, nagkaroon sila ng problema yung, yung crisis nila about several years ago. But we cannot do that in the Philippines.
We cannot. But are there measures to reduce our external debt? Is it working?
I think we should not worry about the debt for as long as we can service it.
Okay, the debt service is okay.
There's no country on earth that has no foreign debt. Even America. In fact, America is deficit.
That's right.
But the strength of America is the fact that they do not depend on foreign trade for their well-being in America. Because each state in the American Union is virtually a country trading with the other states. If you combine the American trade internally among the states, plus their trade with Mexico and Canada, that is 95% of their GDP.
Internal.
So the contribution of their foreign trade to Europe, to Asia, and Africa and other parts of the world, minus Mexico and Canada, is only about 5%.
5%. Well, very minimal.
That's why Trump is talking that way. He doesn't care.
Well, nothing to lose.
He will lose 5%.
5%,
What's that?
yeah. Meron pa rin, pero insignificant. And ours is not the same way, no?
No, we are not like that.
We're very dependent.
But our GDP, our gross domestic product is growing.
Our main source of foreign exchange now are OFWs and the call centers. Yes. We have no
BPO.
We have no manufacturing.
We have none.
Except those that are in the PESA, but those incentives must be reviewed in order to lessen the drain on our revenue, government revenues.
I mean the export.
Yeah.
Senator, may I ask you, as far as as a citizen now, you are a citizen now.
Huh?
You're a citizen, ordinary citizen. You don't hold any office. How would you rate Duterte in his first 2 years in office?
All I can say is that he's doing well. He's governing.
Ayun narinig nyo
He's governing.
He's doing well. He's
That's
governing.
the duty of he's performing the duty of a president as it should.
As it should.
Yeah. Well, he may not be a hotshot in economics, but
and he admits it.
In governance, he's doing the right thing.
Okay.
He's doing the right thing.
As far as peace and order is concerned, peace in our country between the communists and the Muslim insurgents.
And yung ginawa niya na sinabi niya kay Season, dito tayo mag-uusap, yun ang karapat-dapat na gagawin. Because what Season wants is to internationalize
the
an
issue.
internal problem of the country because I'm sure he's being supported by the Comintern. What is Comintern?
What's that?
Communist International. That is the instrument of the old Soviet Union to propagate communism around the world.
Buhay pa
Because
ba?
communism is a universalist ideology.
Buhay pa ba yan, Senador?
Comintern?
Buhay pa ba yan?
My God. Almost every country in the world have a communist party. And that is the unifying group, unifying element.
Okay. Dito sa Pilipinas, do you think Season still has control of his cadres?
I don't know. I have not talked to him or had any contact with him. But alam mo ang methodology ng mga Marxists, they operate on what they call a united front. Every country that they want to conquer, there is always a united front. In the Philippines, that is represented by the National Democratic Front.
Yeah.
That is the umbrella under which they control labor, women, students, media, farmers, dimas. Intellectuals.
So tama yung ginagawa nito. In fact, yan, Senator, maraming sumusuko Maraming sumusuko sa gobyerno ngayon na mga NDF, so insurgents, maraming sumusuko ngayon. And I think the government sumusuko. At turning their arms in, and the government I think has a program for them. Ito yung problema sa Mindanao. Will there be peace? MILF and all these Muslim insurgents?
Ang problema dyan, the problem of Mindanao is complex. What the government is doing now is just to solve the problem of the people who believe in Islam. But even among them, they are not really united. You have the Iranons, the Maranaos, the Magindanaoans, the Yakans of Basilan, the Tausugs of Sulu, the people Samars of Tawi-Tawi. There is a 7th tribe in the country, and that is in Palawan. And they're concentrated in the southernmost town in Palawan, in Balabac, the Molbox. They speak different languages. They have they belong to different tribes, and they are far apart in terms of geography.
7 of
not
them.
Unified.
7 of them who speak different languages.
Another problem outside of this group is the problem of the Christians of Mindanao. Do you remember the Ilaga? In Mindanao?
Iraga?
Yeah.
What is this?
The Ilaga was a group of Christians, mostly Ilonggos, and some Ilocanos. who raised the violence against the Muslims.
Muslims.
Yeah, and that is why somebody was writing about the massacres in Mindanao, and I answered him. He mentioned about Manalili, and he said that happened during martial law. That thing did not happen during martial law, and it was not done by the military. It was done by the Ilaga, and I was there during the fighting. Who were with me? I was with the Chief PC, Eduardo Garcia, who was under me at that time. The regional, the zone commander in Mindanao, General, I think, Vicente Tutaan. And then the provincial commander, Carlos Cajelo, Colonel Carlos Cajelo, and the chairman of the Defense Committee of the House, Congressman Navarro of Surigao del Norte. We were there. We did not have lunch. We had to eat raw corn that I gathered from the cornfields. And I saw the mound of bodies inside the mosque.
Wow. Killed by the
Christians.
Killed by the Ilaga.
Yan ba yung Manero Brothers raw? Yan, di ba? Manero Brothers.
Manero Brothers, yeah.
Sila Commander Inday, mga kailagayan eh. Oh.
Yan yung mga nananaga.
The ones who created
according to
the Ilagas were Jose Escribano of Tacorong, George Labok of Lebac, the De La Serna brothers of Banga and Libongan, Sergeant Duruelo of Pigkawayan, Dikinya of Midsayap, and some governors who were Ilonggos.
Today we have martial law in Mindanao.
Huh?
Today we have martial law in Mindanao. Do you favor the extension of martial law?
It depends upon their assessment of the degree of violence in Mindanao.
The assessment of whom? By the president and his men.
And that function or determination
belongs
to the president and no one else.
And his intelligence team.
Yeah.
Ilaga in Bisaya, according to one of the listeners, means daga.
Rats.
Daga.
Daga.
Mga daga.
Senator, do you think another Marawi can happen?
Huh?
Another Marawi invasion incident?
There was Air Marawi before that. The rebellion mounted by a certain Sakar Basman, where I was there because I had to supervise the extrication of Toshio Orabe, the ambassador of Japan to the Philippines at that time, who was trapped in the Mindanao State University.
Oh, ito. Interesting to.
Huh?
May, interesting to. Chismis.
Oh.
Totoo bang may Golden Buddha na...
Wala.
Golden Buddha.
Wala.
Na kay Marcos eh.
Yung Yamashita.
Yamashita Gold.
How can you expect?
Sorry, Senator.
How can you ever believe that Yamashita, who came from Malaysia and brought here at the end of the war, during a very critical time, will bring his gold home to the Philippines and scatter it all over the place?
Oo nga. Hindi nakita raw ni Marcos tsaka ni McMaking, di ba?
Sila General Singlob, yung another American general, naloko dyan, nandito. Pumunta sa akin noong panahon ni Cory. They want me to give them a Navy ship to even dig Yamashita Treasury in Calatagan Bay.
Did they find any?
Si Almonte ang nagpunta sa akin, kasama nila.
So wala talaga, walang gold.
They dug even in Cavite City, and what did they find? Brown stuff in a latrine.
So walang gold.
Walang
gold.
Marcos.
Walang Yamashita.
No such thing.
Wala yan. I investigated that. In fact, President Marcos asked me to investigate that Golden Buddha. Oh, that's
siya mismo
siya mismo nagpa-investigate.
May yung si Rojas pinagbintangan na inagaw ni Doña Josefa.
Yun na nga. Kinuha daw yung gold. So, di pala totoo.
Ngayon, you've been through a lot. Senator, I'd like to ask you, personally, you've had many satisfying moments in your life on a personal level and many satisfying moments also on the political level of your career. Sa personal nyo, what are the happiest moments of your life?
I have many sad moments also in my life.
Let's talk about the happy.
Yung happy muna, sir.
Yung happy moments.
Si Senator yung
I do not know the
Yung kampanya nyo nung araw, sir.
I do not know the peak point of my happiness.
Really?
I don't know.
What about on the political level? On the political level, your achievements for the Filipino people, what makes you happy?
I am not going to judge myself. Let the future historians remember me if they want to remember me, write about me. If not, so be it. I'm like that. I'm not fighting for monuments, honors, or whatever. I live my life the way I have lived it, and nothing more, nothing less.
Okay. Interesting.
Senator, aside from the intellectual calisthenics that keeps you, di ba, sharp.
Ayun.
In terms of physical, ano ang sikreto?
I exercise every day. Yeah.
Exercise every day.
You still can.
Otherwise, if you do not move all your joints, you will atrophy.
Yeah.
Can you tell us your daily routine? Your daily routine, sir.
Your regimen.
Your daily.
Before
you wake up at what time?
Before I get out of bed, I move all my joints.
Okay.
Through an exercise that I develop myself.
What time is that? What time do you wake up every
What time do you wake up?
8 o'clock, and I finish at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
8 o'clock.
Exercise.
1 hour of exercise.
Then breakfast.
Before
Then,
eating?
I take a breakfast. I eat pandesal.
Walang bawal.
1 piece of pandesal and coffee.
That's it?
Yeah. Sometimes I take hard-boiled egg, soft-boiled egg.
Walang restriction ng diet po, Senator.
Wala naman. I can still eat chicharon,
Sarap.
Wala kayong high blood,
adobo,
Senator?
lechon.
Wow.
Wala kayong high blood?
My blood pressure this morning is 114/60.
Oh, that's good.
Senator, ito marami
that's
nagtatanong. Ito marami nagtatanong.
Ayun. Ito.
Pagdating dyan sa yung physical...
Youth.
But I nearly died when I was in Crimea. I was rushed to the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was gasping for air because it turned out that I had pneumonia. Very severe case of pneumonia.
Wow.
Hindi nabalitaan yun. Ano?
Oo nga, hindi nabalitaan yun.
Dinala ako ng police ambulance dun eh.
Oh.
With the doctors in Camp Crame. And
So,
immediately the doctors in Makati Medical Center put me under life support.
Ito, Senator, ito.
Yun, ito.
Ito po yung maraming tao ang nagtatanong. Kasi nga hindi sila makapaniwala that you're 94, you're still sharp, you're still very lucid, very eloquent.
Or unlucid.
Pero, are you, Senator?
I used that term in an interview and then
Senator,
they kept repeating it. I understand.
Are you into stem cell therapy daw? Stem cell
cell.
therapy?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Walang
Yan
stem
ha.
cell.
Klaro po yan ha.
Hindi siya nag-stem cell, si Senator.
Do you believe in stem cell therapy?
I don't know. I have never tried.
Yun.
Yun yung chismis.
Chismis lang pala yun.
Chismis lang pala yun. Umabot din sa akin
But
yun.
one thing. If you reach my age, magalang na ako.
Magala.
Hindi na confrontation na.
As the poet said, take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth.
Yan.
Wow.
Pero Senator, you're known as really brave and wala kang inaatrasan. Pero what was the scariest moment in your life?
What is?
The scariest moment.
Scariest?
Yes. When you launched that coup in 1986.
No. That was not the scariest moment in my life. When I was captured by the Japanese,
That was that.
I was brought into a dungeon and I have to enter my dungeon in a small opening where I crawl inside. And once they close the door, the only light that I would see in the daytime is through a slit between the
The door. The slit
wall.
in the wall, in the door.
Night is night and day is night.
Wow.
For
And,
90 days.
90 days.
Yeah. And I went through beatings and water cure.
How old were you
They
then?
water cured me, you know. I was laid down on a bench. Then they slapped my ankles, my knees, my torso, my neck, and then tied my hands beneath the plank of the bench, and then they soaked the towel in a pail of water, put it on top of my face, very thick, and then they opened the faucet, and I drowned. And I know how it is to really pass out. Slowly,
Pass out while
you go off, and then total darkness, and you pass out.
you couldn't breathe.
Oh, you cannot breathe. You're drowning.
That was waterboarding.
Waterboarding,
Yeah.
And then after that, I went through that several times, sessions of interrogation.
What were they
And
asking?
then beating with 4x4, and then the tail of a stingray.
How old were you then, sir?
When I was caught, I was 20.
Still young.
20 years old.
What's
And
the
I slept on the floor, cement floor. During those 90 days, I never changed clothes. And I was full of body lice.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah. And you do your thing inside that thing. There is a barrel. You eat there without washing your hands. A bowl of rice with tahuri. You know what's tahuri?
No, what's
It's
it?
fermented soybeans of the Japanese.
It's good you survived.
And two alpine glasses of water every day.
What was your weight?
2 times a day we ate with that. Sometimes spoiled the rice. So.
Senator, what was your weight when you left the prison? Your weight, yung bigat niyo.
Siguro at that time,
Malnourished.
I was very lean. But wiry.
Wiry.
Yeah.
Well, yun yung scariest moment ng
But
buhay.
that was my scariest moment because I was brought to a room and I could feel the blade of the samurai sword on my neck.
Kaya nga sinasabi ni Senator kanina, we were talking about martial law and the victims, the alleged victims of martial law abuse. We were talking about it earlier, and
You
he said,
know, if you have been tortured
Yeah.
like me, you would remember the face of your torturer. You cannot
Forget.
erase it from your mind.
and you wouldn't...
Until now, I can still picture the one who was putting the blade on my neck. He was the head of the Kempetai, the Japanese military police, and Sergeant Nakamura, who conducted the beatings on me and the water cure. Captain Nakamura, Sergeant Nakamura, Sergeant Hane, and Sergeant Ochai.
What information did they want from you?
They were asking me about a certain Blackburn. It turned out that he was Donald Blackburn, a famous guerrilla operator in the Mountain Province.
Which you had no idea.
I never met him. I met him after the war.
Did you tell him about the story?
Huh?
Did you tell him?
I told him the story.
What did he
said,
say?
I was nearly killed because of you. During the Marcos years, he was frequenting Malacanang.
And I was talking to the senator earlier also, we were talking to him. He said, because I went through these kinds of beating, I wouldn't wish that on anyone else.
Correct. That's why I abhor people torturing people. And cases of torture or abuse were brought to my attention, I had to
During martial law.
investigate them. But none of these people who are accusing me today wrote me a letter or informed me or their families writing me or informing me about their being tortured. I'm not saying that it never happened, but it was never brought to my attention, because if those things happened, then it was brought to my attention, I will have to take action. And besides, what the people do not know, at that time, not all the military men in uniform were under me. There was such an organization known as the National Intelligence Security Authority,
NISA,
under General Ver.
Okay.
And by the way, I opposed the adoption of the National Security Act of Singapore here in the country.
We have 5 minutes left.
Okay, 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
I think the senator would like to address our nation and the people who are watching.
Yes.
We have 5 minutes left, Senator.
Parting words?
Your parting words.
I do not have to address them. I think I know them. But what I would like to say is, the young generation especially, the so-called millennials, the millennials who were born 1980 to 1999 and beyond, no, those who were born 2000 to 18 are the Z generation. And I would like to tell them that they better be careful in exercising their right to vote, to select the leaders that will handle their problems in this generation, because they will be the one to suffer if they elect the wrong people and adopt wrong policies for this country. It will not affect me as an old man. It will affect the young people. They will have a longer period to stay here, and they will be the one to cry and regret if they make mistakes.
Okay.
Sa akin,
Okay.
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
There you have it,
Ponce
ladies.
Enrile,
The
sharp
legend.
as ever, at 94 years old, and gunning for the Senate seat.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
living
for joining
legend.
us.
Salamat.
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
Senator, thank you.
Hopefully, we can do this again.
Sure, anytime.
Okay.
So with that,
I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's watching and listening. This is Blogging Ngayon, together with Mark Lopez and Francis Abraham, saying good night.
Ayos!
Huh?
Mabuhay si Duterte.
Gusto ko happy ka.
yun!
Are
Nakalimutan
you
na.
using the same thing?
Yeah, well, that's my own. So
Yeah.
Gusto ko happy ka.
We'll treat you for dinner.
Yes, Japanese.
Sir,
thank
join
you.
us.
Thank you.
Sir, join us, sir.
Hanap mo ba ang may kabuluhang tawanan? Pwede rin namang seryosong usapan o feel good sa mga kwento ng buhay, mga kakaibang topic, or just anything under the sun. Trending ba niyan, usapang kalusugan, pampaganda, pagkakaperahan, dagdag kaalaman sa batas, pati problema at usapang kalalakihan, at home ka dito. May trabaho o wala, ikaw ang bida sa Home Buddy.